Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn how to make different patterns using Java programming language. And for that, let us start creating a new project. Let us go to File, then New, and then let us make a new Java project. Uh, Let us search from here. Let us go from here. Java project next. Uh, Let us keep this name pattern, and then everything is all right. Then let's do next. Now let us I think it's okay. Okay, so it is saying discourage model name by convention lowercase. Okay, let us not create module. Okay, what is saying display design so it offers package. Okay, let us say no. Now we have a new pattern. Now let us go here and let us make a new class, and let us say practice, let's say test. We can give any name, and let's create a main method. And after creating, we can see here we get a new class. Now what we are going to do is we are trying to create a pattern. Okay, let us create a simple pattern. Okay, so the pattern would be like this type. I'm just doing like this type of pattern. Let's make a very simple pattern. Let's make a pattern like this. So for that, okay, so I'm going to put this a little bit down and write this as a comment. uh, okay, uh, okay, like this. Okay, so our objective is to create a pattern like this. Okay, wait, anyways anyways so we are creating a pattern like this. Okay, so for that we have to use for loop. Let us do it. Okay, let's write for int I equals to 0, I is less than or equal to 5, and I plus plus. Okay, okay, so I must tell you that before starting this uh, class, let's say, you must know how a for loop works. Okay, okay, if you don't know how for loop works, then I think it will not be easier for you to understand. So you should uh, learn in advance how this for loop works, its syntax and everything, and then when you understand it, then only uh, you can be able to write code, or you can be able to understand what is going on here. Okay, so I request you all, whoever is looking this video, first of all, uh, you know what how for loop works. Okay, so so here let us see that we are using this for loop, and then if we use for loop inside a for loop, it is called as nested for loop. Okay, so here we have used for loop once. Now we will be using another for loop. Okay, and that is called, it is called nested for loop. And now all we need here is a good logic. Okay, let us do here, and let's say j plus plus. We are it's like practicing here. Okay, we'll be doing certain experiments, and then finally we'll be able to print this. So what this line does, line number 5 does is, uh, let us read this. Okay, so here for int I equals to 0, I is less than 5, and I plus plus means I starts from 0. The initial value of I is 0, and it will be going up to 4. Why 4? Because I is less than 5 means I will be going up to 4, and it is an integer. Okay, there will be no decimal, so it will be going up to 4, and the increment value is I plus plus, means I is so I am sure that you know that I plus plus means I equals to I plus 1. Okay, so this and this are same. It means that I will be starting from 0, I will be increased by 1 every time, and then I will be uh, increased up to 4, because we have written here I is less than 5. Okay, and the same thing will be happening in the case of j also. In case of j, it will be starting from 0, and it will be uh, going to less than 5 means 4, and every time it will be increased by 1. Okay, because j plus plus means j is equals to j plus 1. Now let us say okay, so let me print here something. Okay, uh, okay, so what is the problem here? Okay, let's write it. Sometimes Eclipse, system dot out dot print ln. Okay, print ln, and then let us print here. Let us print here anything we would like. Okay, just print here a. Now let us see what the output will be. Okay, so before printing it, let us guess the output. Okay, so how this will work means, first of all, I is equals to 0. Okay, first of all, I is equals to 0, and then after I is equals to 0, it is entering another loop, j is equals to 0. Okay, so here in the first step, I is equals to 0. When this I is equals to 0, this loop starts, and it should be finished before this I is increased by 1. Okay, I'm sure you are understanding. What I'm trying to say is, I is equals to 0, and in that I equals to 0, this j loop runs from j equals to 0 to j equals to 5, I mean j equals to 4, and after this is finished, then only it goes back here, and then this 0 is increased to 1, then only. Okay, so for the value of I to be increased from 0 to 1, the value of j should be reached to j equals to 4. It means that the j loop should be finished for I to be increased by 1. Okay, so I'm going to write here, first of all, the value of I is equals to 0. Okay, then when the value of I equals to 0, it enters in this loop, in this for loop. Okay, and in this for loop, the value of j will be equals to 0. So when the value of j is equals to 0, it prints a. Okay, so our output will be somewhat like, okay, okay, a, I mean a. Then since there is print ln, means it will be going to new line. Okay, it goes to new line. Then since the value of j is not finished, so it again goes here by increasing the value of j by 1, so 1. So after it goes to here, and now the value of j is equals to 1, then it again prints a. Okay, a. The same thing happens, 1, then the value of j now is 2. Okay, after that a is again printed, then this loop again goes here in j plus plus, so j equals to 3, then again it prints a, and then now it, and the value of j becomes 4, and then again it prints a. Okay, now the value of j is equals to 4. Okay, so now after printing a, it again goes here, but here we have put the condition j is less than 5. Okay, now the value of j is 5, but But what happens is, if, even if the value of j is 5, but we have here condition, the value of j should be equal to less than 5, which is not correct. So now, since the condition is failed, it now goes to this loop. Okay, it returns to this loop. So why is this happening? It is happening because this for loop is incorrect. So from here, what we can understand is, for loop, we can only exit from for loop. We can exit from for loop only when the condition of for loop is incorrect. Okay, so this is the key point what we should understand. To exit from for loop, the uh, condition should be failed, then only it will be exited. So now it is exited to this exited from this for loop, and it goes to here, and then now here the value of I will be 1. Okay, and the same thing repeats again. The value of I will be 1, and then it enters this for loop again. Okay, and again here will be a. So how many times a? 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so again here 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so again it will go from the same process repeats, and then it will be here like 2, and then again it will be a 3 4 5. Okay, and the same thing happens here till the value of I becomes up to 4. Okay, but the final value will be 5. Okay, because after this value will be 5, then only the condition will be failed. Okay, so now our output will be something like, okay, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, 5 4 20. I think we'll be getting a up to 20 times. Okay, let's print it. Okay, okay, 1 2 3 4 5. That's 1 times. 1 2 3 4 5. 2 times. 1 2 3 4 5. 3 times. 1 2 3 4 5. 4 times. 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so the altogether there will be 20a. Okay, so but this is like a simple thing. Now our aim was to make like this. Okay, okay, so why I've done this? Because uh, okay, oh my god, the video is too long. Never mind. uh, what I'm doing is, I'm just trying to understand you how the for loop works. Now we'll be doing this pattern. Okay, now how to make this pattern means, all you have to do is, you after we understood this, how this works. Okay, so first what I was doing was, I was trying to understand you how this for loop works. Now uh, after now we'll be using a logic. Okay, so to make it short, let's not make it long. um, so what we should, okay, first you should know is, this is a. Okay, here I have put asterisk, but we should think that this is a. Okay, so what we should do is, in the first row, we have to print asterisk or a once, then twice, then thrice, then 4 times, then 5 times. Okay, so for that, how can we make a logic so that there will be only one uh, a or asterisk printed in the first line? Okay, so for that, let's think it logically. Okay, uh, let's say if I'll put here I instead of 5, what will happen means, I is 0. Okay, and then here will be it will be false in the first time, which is okay. Then it will be false. Okay, this condition will be false, then it will be increased to 1. If it is now, okay, let's okay, I'll be understanding you like this. Okay, I think it will be easier. So what happens is, first of all, I equals to 0, and then here uh, j equals to 0, and j is less than I. Okay, j is less than I means j is equals to 0, and I is equals to 0. So 0 is less than 0. Okay, j is, first of all, j is equals to 0, and I is equals to 0, which is false. So for the first time, this A will not be printed because this condition is false. As soon as this condition is false, it will be it will be returned here only. Okay, so now I equals to 1. When I equals to 1, at this time again a new loop starts. J equals to 0 and j is less than 1. Okay, why 1? Because now I equals to 1, this I, and okay, 0 is less than 1, it's true, so now A is printed. Okay, now when A is printed, second time j will be increased. Okay, when j will be increased, okay, now second time, let's do this. Second time j is equals to 1, but at this condition 1, I is 1, the value of I will be not changed, so 1 is less than 1 is false, so A is only printed once. Okay, okay, let's read this. Now for the now this condition is false, so it will be returned here. It will again move here, then now 2, the value of I will be 2 because it will be increased by 1, and then here okay, this new loop will be started, and then the value of I will be 2. Okay, the value of this will not be here, so now 0 is less than 2, then yes, it's correct, A. But here we'll have a problem because we have printed println. Okay, so let's not print this, and let's print a space here. Okay, what this does is, if you print ln here, okay, let's do from here. Okay, so A is printed here, and then for the second time, okay, so this first condition is correct. Okay, now 0 is less than 2, it is correct, but since it is ln here, the cursor goes to the next step. Okay, next line, and then again for the second time j is equals to 1 here, and I is equals to 2, it is also correct, so new A will be printed in the next line. So that's why if we remove here this ln, the next A will be printed not here but here only. Okay, here only, but this will be together because there is no space here. But if you will put space here, one space means a space will also be printed. Okay, and then for the second time another space will also be printed, but this space will be printed, but it can be ignored, because we won't see this space. Okay, now as soon as this loop is finished, okay, the next thing that should be printed should be on the next line. So that's why as per our requirement, the next thing should be printed in this line, but here we have removed ln. So to balance that, what we should do is, as soon as this loop is finished, we should make the cursor go to the cursor means this cursor. Okay, this cursor move to the next line here. So for that, what we will be doing is we'll be doing is simply we'll be writing this. What this does is, it prints a new line, and in that new line there will be nothing, means will be reached here. Okay, so this goes on, and then for the second time we'll be getting output like this. Okay, the second time we'll be getting output like this. 0 1 2 3 4 means 5 times. Okay, a. Let's say this will be our output. Okay, now let's check if we'll be getting output like this. Let's see, look. But okay, so for the first time here in the line number 1 we are not getting anything, because as we have already talked, line number 1 is false. Okay, that's why. Okay, now what happens? So now I want to make, okay, and you can see here it is only printed for 4 times. So why did we do wrong? I mean, A is not printed 5 times. Okay, Okay, so 0 1 2. Okay, in the first line 0 it is false, no, that's why 1 2 3 4. So only this 4 uh, 1 2 3 4 only it has been printed from only 1 2 3 4, but we want to make print even for the 0. Okay, so what we can do is all we have to do is make a nice logic. Okay, so we want to make true here, means let's make this I plus 1. If it will be I plus 1, 0 will this will be 0, but here it will be 1, and in the first line it will also be printed. Let's see. Okay, now it will be done, because here okay, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5. So that's how we make a pattern. Okay, and this is asterisk here, so we can just replace this with an asterisk. Okay, if we make this asterisk, then like this, and if we remove the space, then everything will become will become in closure. That's how we make a pattern. Okay, so I hope you understood, and I want to request you again to know the for loop at first.